guys want to talk about the power outage here? It's awesome. No, you got air conditioning. We worked all day to make sure that you guys got air conditioning in here. That's all we did. I just got back from moving all the turbines, and we didn't practice today just to take care of you people. Absolutely. Absolutely. So what do we want to talk about today? Anything of importance?
Yeah, hey Coach, Glenn Westco, 247. I guess when's the timeline for when you guys start preparing for Florida State? If that already started, I mean, just what's that look like in terms of?
The today and tomorrow we'll do a little bit of Florida State, but we're not fully into a Florida State practice. I'd say Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I think probably. When you break down like preparation, for me, I look at like a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday in season, and we'll do that twice. So we've got plenty of time. So I would say probably Thursday, Friday this week we'll begin to really focus on Florida State.
Hey, Coach, when you've talked about the running backs, you said the experience will rise to the top, or typically kind of
Typically. I could be wrong. I've been wrong, as you guys know, many, many times.
Well, is Caleb Jackson maybe kind of changing that thinking? And kind of...
he had a good day, but, you've seen this many, many times, and I have as well. We tend to overreact to, these kinds of situations. Was that a product of bad tackling, or was that great running, right? Maybe it's a little bit of both. Now, let's not take anything away from the kid. He's done a really good job. But there are other facets that he's going to have to continue to work on. We are really excited about his future here, but there's clearly more work to be done.
We also saw Sage Ryan at cornerback during the scrimmage. First of all, has he been able to get back on the practice field? And then just what do y'all like about him maybe at that cornerback spot?
Well, he has elite speed. I mean, he's a guy that can run in the high 21 range. So, he's got the skill, to have the kind of speed to play out there. The second thing, experience, and at that cornerback position, that's the one area that we're calling for experience. And I think the third is he's a pretty smart football player. So he puts himself in a pretty good position. One thing that we really are concerned about is making sure that we tackle the football and having a great tackler out there. Sage has been a really steady tackler for us. So he brings a lot of those traits to that position and gives us flexibility to put a guy that's played a lot of football out there that runs really well and can tackle in a position to help us.
Follow up on him, and I have another question. Sage's injury, is he back on?
He practiced today.
Practiced today? Okay, great.
Yeah, it was. I think more of a kind of a stinger, if you will. I don't know the exact.
What did you like in the scrimmage that you saw, and what were some of the things that you're kind of still concerned about?
I thought that. Overall, what we were looking for more than anything else was, who are the guys that need to be developed to be guys to count on, and who are the guys that are not ready to be counted on yet that need more time to develop. And so it was much more in that fashion than it was, I like this or I didn't like that. This was much more about. 53. This was much more about finding out, defensively, who else can we get on the field at the jack position? Is Whit Weeks getting closer to playing? Can Stamps hold up at corner? And all those became positive for us. And so I think we were looking for those kinds of answers. And then on the other side, who needs more work? Who needs to continue to to develop. And I think that that's kind of, how we looked at the scrimmage.
Hey, Coach. At least last week, Armani Goodwin, Logan Diggs, and Josh Williams were kind of, I'd say, limited in practice. Are they okay to?
They practiced today for the first time, so we had a full complement of running backs out there today.
And real quick, mentally and sort of when it comes to his football IQ, with Harold Perkins, what has he sort of learned or something that he had trouble with last year that he now is, I guess sort of mastered? Like, what are some examples of that actual growth mentally?
Well, quite frankly, we didn't drill down on the nuances of the position. We moved them around to be an edge player for us. Quite frankly, we felt like we wanted to take advantage of his athleticism when we put him in positions to really go get the quarterback. So there was really nothing that he didn't do. He picked up the schemes from week to week. This was really about, learning, pass coverages and gap responsibilities and things that we really didn't spend a lot of time with him. But he's got a great football IQ. He's really, I would say, from a pass coverage, he's got great sense in pass coverage, zone, and obviously man. And understands gap integrity. He's not running around there just, trying to make plays on athleticism. So we've been very pleased with his football IQ.
Coach, Chris Hilton's dealt with a lot of injuries, high school and here. The hope is he's finally poised for maybe a breakout season. What are you seeing out of him in camp so far?
I think he's had a really good camp. I think he's been more consistent. And one of the consistencies is staying on the field, as you mentioned, Jacques. He's been injured, but he's been healthy. He's made every practice. So I think that in itself is huge progress for him. And I think he's been more consistent catching the football. He was inconsistent. So staying healthy, catching the football, because we all know about, the other things, and that is that he can run. I'd say that he's taken the proper strides forward, that we are all happy for him.
Coach, over here. Matthew Bruno with On 3. Zalen's hurt. How have you seen him progress throughout the fall? And do you see him pushing for maybe a starting position, or is there still work to do?
Well, he certainly has developed, just the understanding of the offense in itself, from terminology to technique to, it's college football. He's going to, there are guys he went against last year that, quite frankly, there was mismatches, maybe 80% of the time, 90% of the time, maybe 99% of the time. So now he's going up against Savion Jones, and he's going up against some pretty impressive football players. So that's a whole new thing for him to deal with. So the rigors of that, right? Each and every day. So he's going through a lot of that. But is he pushing for a starting position? He's a guy that, we're giving, reps to. We got to find the best 5 guys, and then the next is the 6th and 7th. So he's in the mix, and he's out there competing hard.
Coach Kelly right here. Jacob
Yes, sir.
Vernon from the Verdon Verdict. When will there be a decision made on what player will be wearing jersey number 7 and jersey number 18?
We've given it great thought, and it's certainly something that I know a lot of people are anticipating. I would say probably by the end of this week we'll have some kind of announcement.
Hey, Coach, over here, Jason Jerm from Gridiron Football. Zy Alexander, he had a really good fall scrimmage as well the other day. Just what have you really seen from him, and just making that transition from the FCS at Southeastern to LSU?
Yeah, I think the first thing is he's a guy that's trustworthy. Does the little things the right way. He's a guy that takes care of his work off the field, on time, reliable. Those traits, as we know, they're transferable. And so at that position, that's what you're looking for. And then he brings length, athleticism, and we've seen him be a guy that's not afraid to stick his nose in there. Even though he played quarterback in high school, and he is physically, developing and getting stronger. We like his willingness to go in there and want to tackle. And I think we saw on Saturday he's got the nose for a football too. When it's in the air, he's going to go up and find it, and he can catch it.
Brian, when we talk maybe broadly about the offense, it sounds like one of the things y'all are focused on is trying to get more explosive as an offense after being very, very efficient last season. But how do you sort of value or balance efficiency versus explosiveness, so maybe you don't always have a bunch of drives with a few plays and you're able to maybe give your defense some rest? Like, how do you just sort of strike that middle ground, I guess? Where do you want that to be?
Yeah, so, explosiveness sometimes is looked at as, a play that has to be thrown, 20 yards down the field. It could be, making sure that you get the ball into the hands of your dynamic playmakers. And tactically, setting it up as such that they touch the ball enough that you can get explosive plays out of them. And sometimes, I remember, looking at, Alabama's offense in 2020, and, their receivers weren't necessarily always pushing the ball down the field. It was just flipping the ball out on the perimeter, and they were turning them into explosive plays. So, explosive plays to me certainly are about pushing the ball down the field, but it's also about getting the ball into your playmakers' hands. And that's going to be both of those things. You have to balance those, because you can't just keep pushing the ball down the field and find yourself, staring at 3rd and 10 every time. How are we doing today? Excellent? Great. Everybody looks like they had a couple of days off, and happy for everybody. That's great. It'll be 105 tomorrow. We'll be back at it, so we'll let you know how that goes. Thank you.